What's up, guys? So we last left off, we lost daylight putting this fence up in the orchard area, and so we are back out here today because we basically just secured it enough so that the ducks couldn't get free and that the dogs couldn't go on the duck side, but we didn't finish zip tying or completing the gate entrance. Let me show you. So I purchased this gate simply because it was $99 instead of the gates that we have. Um, has much smaller holes where animals can't get in, the dogs can't get in, but it was $159. So instead I decided to get this gate because I knew that we had extra wire as well as cattle panels, and I thought maybe it would be a good idea to zip tie a piece of smaller wire or cattle panel on the gate so that at least the bottom maybe 2 or 3 where the ducks can't escape, because obviously they could step right through there if they really wanted to. And we do have a couple small dogs that if they really wanted to get over to here, they could probably squeeze through these holes that are big enough. And so we just want to make sure that the ducks are protected. And so we are going to use this extra hardwire cloth. We connected the fence going across, and then now we are working on, or I was working on cutting at the post, and then I was thinking about attaching it here with some zip ties, so at the least at the bottom layer, just to make sure that the animals in here will be protected. So we'll go in here, and I want to talk to you about yesterday. I mentioned how I would have grapevines growing up across the cattle panel and the entrance. This right here is facing the street, and so deer, they do live, come out of these woods, as well as the back of our property. We see deer running along there. Deer do not come into our yard, not because we have this 4-foot fence, because they can jump a 4-foot fence, but because we have dogs. And specifically our livestock guardian dog and one other dog is out all night, and so the deer don't jump the fence because they don't want to be with the dogs. But this cattle panel and where the entrance of where the gate's going to be is going to be inside of our yard, and since we don't have predators like deer inside of our yard, they won't be eaten. I do, in our garden area, if you're familiar, have some vegetables growing along the fence that is on the outside, and deer and animals could, if they wanted to, potentially eat those things, but I haven't had any trouble. This was my first year, spring and summer, growing in that area, and I didn't have any animals eat the produce. Like I had green beans, I had a tomato growing out there, I had a watermelon growing on the opposite side. And although I've seen animals on that side, I haven't had any animals come and eat my produce that was facing the street. And so I would assume that if things were facing this side, that maybe they wouldn't get eaten, but I'm not sure. But I know that my grapes won't get eaten because they're inside my yard, and an animal would have to be inside my yard in order to get the grapes. Yesterday we were able to get 6 trees planted. So these are 4 apples trees that I was able to get planted, and then I got 2 pears. I still have a pear, 3 more pears, and then I have these 3 plums. I didn't plant this plum yet because I had laid it out before we put up the fence and the gate, and I'm just not sure if I want a big tree here. I'm still trying to envision it because obviously these trees are small now, but when they get big, I'm just not sure about having a big plum tree right here. And so I may go ahead and move that small plum tree over to this side where the plums, and have this entrance as I come in empty for a bit, if that makes sense. With having expanding this orchard area and enclosing it in, I do have to worry about, because this does connect with the goat side, and so I would have to worry about how close I put fruit trees over towards this side that goes over to the goat side, because this fence right here, the goats will definitely climb on it, and to get over to try and eat the fruit trees that I have planted here. And so I definitely want to take into consideration how far I'm planting fruit trees to that gate, just to not, you know, tempt the goats to climb on that fence and try to climb over or anything like that. I do want to come in here. I have some trees that are leaning. They weren't leaning when I planted them, but a baby goat got in here multiple times and was leaning on them to eat the leaves, which is why this peach tree does not have leaves and why it's leaning, because the goat was leaning that way. I do need to prune these trees. Last fall or whenever I planted these original trees that I got from the farm store, I only ended up pruning the apple trees, and they look really good and healthy now, but I do have to come in here and prune the rest of the trees that have already been in here. Like that one's really tall. I said yesterday I was only able to fit 12 apple trees here, and altogether I had 26, but 5 was already planted, so I had 21 new apple trees that I was trying to fit in the specific area. I have thought about planting some trees in my garden area, because right now in the summer my garden is way past full sun. Full sun is considered 6 hours, and my garden probably gets sun. If there's 12 hours in a day of sunlight, my garden's probably getting all 12 hours of sun. Actually probably 11, because the back half probably the first hour of sunlight is blocked by the trees over here, but then in the evening the back half for like the last hour is shaded by the trees in the back. So I would say it probably gets 11 hours of sunlight, which it definitely could use some more shade. And so I thought about planting some fruit trees over there, might be beneficial. So you guys let me know what you think about planting fruit trees in my garden. Have you guys planted fruit trees in your garden? I have blueberry bushes over there at the front, but I also thought about planting blueberry or blackberries in the garden beds as well. The blackberry plants that I brought were blackberry canes that would specifically support themselves, but well, that was the new ones that I bought, but I think I do have some old ones that I already had before we moved here that may need trellising, and so the ones that I would plant in the garden would be the ones that can support themselves. So I went ahead and moved the plum tree that was blocking the entrance and moved it here. My girls brought over some more pear trees, so it's filling out. And then I brought out my 2 cherry trees. I am not planting those 6 feet or closer together like I am my other trees. So I have one here and one will go about there. I'm still not sure. I just know that they're going to be spaced farther apart because I do want my cherry trees to get bigger. I apologize in advance for the wind because it's super windy today. But anyway, so we had this extra cattle panel that we cut off of making the cattle panel greenhouse, and I decided to put the pokey edges facing that way since the fence is there and no one's gonna probably get hurt by it. That's my assumption, and it's too high to get stabbed, and so I wanted to utilize that since this is a 2-foot bed and actually fit perfectly. My son just attached it for me, and then I have Nehemiah filling wood chips, and she's gonna fill both sides of the bed to the top, and then I'm going to put some bags of soil because these wood chips do drop over time, and so I am going to step on it, squish it down really good before I plant my grapevines in here. We did go ahead and roll up the Premier One fence, and I basically got all of the fruit trees where I want them, and my son is working on digging the holes for me. So far in here I have 12 apples over here, 6 plums, I have 10 pear trees, 4 peaches, and 2 cherries. I do have 4 more peach trees coming, 4 nectarines, and maybe 2 more plums, as well as 2 fig trees. The reason why I haven't bought fig tree yet is because when we bought the property, were 2 fig trees on the property. 1 died, and then we still have 1 at the back. So what that leaves me with is we'll walk over there and see how many apple trees I have left to get planted in the orchard area or if I want to plant any apple trees in the garden area, or maybe even both. So I have 9 more apple trees over here. This tree, the tag is not on it, but I know it came from Stark Brothers because of how it came with this. This is how their trees come to hold them up, but I just don't know what it is. I tried to look at the leaves, and I think it's either an apple or a pear. I was thinking more of an apple just because of the stem was darker than all my other pears. These are 2 pears that did not make it, so you have a year with Stark Brothers to get your trees replaced. And so I will be replacing those 2 trees, and I know that they're completely dead because I snapped a branch. A viewer also said that you can scratch the branches to make sure that it's green inside without harming your branches. The space down back here where I have my fruit trees is definitely thinning out, obviously, because we're moving fruit trees to the orchard finally. But I do have some blackberries still over here. I have some blueberries. I have some grapes right here, but we're going to be planting those. I have some citrus that are going to go inside of the greenhouse, and then I know I have some, I think this is a mulberry, which I could bring over to the garden, to the orchard area. I think that's a mulberry, and a mulberry back there. Along with these mulberries I just found, I remembered I had elderberries. This one elderberry grows wild here in South Carolina, especially along the ditches area. So in like July, you see so many along the ditches, just white bushy flowers, and then probably in August you see lots of bright dark almost looking black berries. And so one of my friends had elderberry. She has elderberry all over her backyard, and so I did get a cutting from her. And so one of these are a cutting, and then the other 3 I ordered from Stark Brothers, I believe. Yes, so this one's from Stark Brothers, and I'm pretty sure these are 2, but they don't have the tags. I know they weren't all the same. So this one right here is a Nova elderberry. I know I ordered different kinds of elderberry. This is the elderberry that grows wild here in South Carolina, and I'm not sure what these are, but I know that they are elderberry. This one obviously died and is growing back. So I just counted, and I think I have 69 fruit trees that I need to fit over in the orchard area. That's not including my citruses, that's not including the blackberries, not including the blueberries, not including the grapes. It's just 69 fruit trees, so that is apples, peaches, pears, plums, nectarines, cherry, mulberry, and elderberry, which all equal 69. I just counted. I might be off 1 or 2, but that's the number that I got right now. That what we have laid out is 39 is what I counted, and then I have 10 apples or 9 apples. I have the 4 elderberry over there. I have about 5 mulberry over there, and like I said, I have 4 more peaches, 4 nectarines coming. So yeah, I don't know, I'm probably missing something. So my girls did go ahead and get these filled. My son was digging holes for me, and he came across this area. He already cut. This is a stump he ran into, and so he's basically using a saw to cut the roots that are in the ground. That's when we've come across roots planting in this area, because this area did have lots of trees over here. We've just broken them, cut them, removed them, and so far it's been working out just fine. That looks so pretty, the sun setting at the back of the property. With that sun going down, it is time to do animal chores. So our chickens, we have an automatic coop, so most of them go in bed. It's probably like 1 or 2 roosters that probably stay out, but my daughter does have to catch the turkey because the turkey never goes to bed. And so she catches the turkey and puts him in a crate that we have out here for him. And then my son brings out his dog, which is a Great Pyrenees, our livestock guardian dog that we had before we had a property. So he goes outside and he goes on the side with the goats. My daughter Nehemiah puts away the Polish chickens that are in my garden because they don't have automatic coop. And then my daughter Nael is chasing ducks, but usually she's not. She's supposed to get them to their. We moved their house back here, and so their usually house was up here, and so I think that's where they're trying to go. But she's going to lead them to their bed as well. Right now we have our ducks in one of these tractors that we built for our chickens, our meat chickens, so that we could move it every day, which we found that it was hard to move because we have so much wood chips, and so we didn't really use it. Well, we did use one for our meat ducks, and then our meat chickens, and then we butchered them. We put our ducks in here, but I do want to build a cattle panel home for them, which is on the list to do right now. Obviously, this is secure and fine. It's keeping them protected this whole time that they've been outside, because it does have the hardwired cloth, and it is secure on all areas. But that is our meat chicken tractor, and so if we plan to get more meat chickens in the future, we would need that back. And so definitely would have them a house, and it would just be nice to be able to walk in and collect the duck eggs, because right now we have to, if they lay duck eggs in their area, we have it sitting up with cinder blocks, and then we have to lift it up to get the eggs. They don't know that their house is back here, and so but at least they all stay together. Some are over there, but they're not trying to get back inside their house. Oh, you carrying one? So this is going to be interesting, so I need to go in there and help my daughters. That's a huge duck, Nehemiah. He's bigger than you. Or actually, that's a girl. The boy's over there. Okay, put the duck in its home. Okay, we got all the animals in. We finally got all the ducks in. So we're calling it a night. We are going in the house. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.